Well, these tariffs are sending shockwaves through the Canadian economy, and we're learning this afternoon how business owners are reacting. Goldy Hyder is the CEO for the Business Council of Canada, joining us now virtually. Goldy, thank you so much for being with us today. Listen, day 2 here. What are you hearing from your members about these tariffs?
Well, obviously, there's a lot of anxiousness and concern about the sort of the inconsistencies, the announcements and the re-announcements and the changes. And, you know, business loves predictability, business loves stability, business wants to know what the rules are. And clearly that is in flux these days. And that's causing, as I said, some anxiousness. We do want to try and find a way forward. I think it's important to get to a place where we make the case that, look, trade is a good for Canada, good for America, good for Mexico. There is a trade agreement. It was negotiated by the president himself. He called it the greatest deal of all time. If it's not working for them today, let's sit down and figure out what we can do to make it even better. And that's what we need to get to sooner rather than later.
I want to get your take on Canada's response here, both federally and provincially as well, when it comes to the steps the government is taking. From your view here, what are your thoughts when it comes to retaliatory tariffs?
Well, first of all, let me say I'm proud of Canada. I'm proud of Canadians. I'm proud of the leadership that we're receiving across this country from governments, from business leaders, from labor leaders and Indigenous groups and others to really rally and use this as an opportunity to strengthen our country. Whatever comes out of this, we cannot go to back what was. And so there's two different things going on here. On the one hand, yes, you have to manage the response to the tariffs, and I think the government has done everything that it has, and I'll come back to that in a second. But on the other hand, we also need to use this as a wake-up call to figure out how we're going to do better to control our own destiny and not be beholden to a single economy and a single customer. So on the question of tariffs, I think the government has done everything it can to find a way to inflict maximum pain on the American side and minimize the pain on the Canadian side. It's a tricky thing to do. Ultimately, tariffs are taxes, and those taxes are usually paid by the consumer. And so it's unfortunate that we find ourselves in this tariff war because it does mean inflation will return. It does mean the cost of living will go up. It does mean that we're going to be paying more for things. It does mean that businesses could well see job losses take place. And our governments now need to be prepared in how they're going to respond to that, and obviously making sure that our EI program is prepared and robust enough to handle those challenges. Should it come to that, I remain optimistic that it won't, but let's see.
Yeah, it appears that the need for supports is also top of mind for government officials who say that they'll be there to support businesses while we deal with these tariffs here. But what kind of support do you think is needed to keep shops from closing their doors for good?
Yeah, I think it may be a little premature to start thinking about, mass deficit-ridden supports. The reality is we have an employment insurance program in Canada. It is a well-funded program. It can offer a stability. It is there to help people through predicaments like this. We have work-sharing opportunities that can take place within that EI program. I think lenders will be given capacity to make more liquidity available. Our Bank of Canada, as a central bank, could make more liquidity available. There's a number of measures that are possible as bridges in the event that it actually gets to being escalated to such a stage that the economy is really in a recession and unemployment is uncontrollable. We're a long ways from any of that, so I wouldn't get too excited about doing that. I think we have to be responsible in how we think about that. But planning and preparation with government and business and labor leaders should be taking place in the eventuality that something comes to that. But today, that's not the case.
All right, we'll have to leave it at that. Goldy Hyder, thank you so much for taking the time to speak with us.
Thanks for having me.